Yo, bro.
What's going on, bro?
Oh, not too much. Just dreaming about sand dunes.
Yeah, me too. I'm thinking we need a new adventure. What do you got?
What do I got? Well, we've been to the centre, so we might as well go to the top.
Cape York.
I think so.
Cape York sounds the go. Good stuff. I certainly don't want to get injured. I'm going away with the wife over the weekend and she would be very disappointed. I suffer from a condition called ankleitis, which means that pretty much any time I do anything, I roll my ankle. So I've picked the right sport, being dirt biking, considering I don't seem to be able to walk, run or do anything without rolling my ankle. Well, here we are, Neerim South. First ride back, well, since early September when we got back from the Simpson. I thought I'd combine the two things, a ride here with just a chat about the Simpson and how the bikes went and that sort of thing. We'll get the bike unloaded and I'll say a few stats. So the Simpson, I mean, it was absolutely amazing. I'd give anything to be heading back there now. I had a few questions about things like how much fuel did we use. We allocated 40 litres each for the bikes and that was pretty much bang on target. I know Hunter, he ran out of fuel on the way back to Birdsville, but more because of the diversions, I think, and extra runs on Big Red. And I think what factored into that, we didn't really measure what we put in each bike, not wanting to carry jerry cans that were just had a little bit left in them, so we distributed them amongst all the bikes. So there wasn't really a measurement system. So the Colorado from Udnadatta to Birdsville was 96 litres. So as far as the bike went, the DRZ was, you know, stock standard. I did have the waterproof box, which I've now taken off. I used that as a charger when we were riding through the desert. I took a 20,000 milliamp portable charger and that was what I charged the drone with, and my phone and my watch and the Garmin and everything else that I needed along the way. And it worked fine. The only problem was when it got really rough, the cord would come out. So you had to check it regularly to make sure it was actually charging. So I've ended up removing that and I'm going to come up with a better idea. I also had the tool tube on the side, both Hunter and I. His ended up vibrating and coming off. The back wheel was just clipping it. My brother's had a 28 litre Safari tank fitted, and Hunter has the 18 litre, although they do say that they carry 30 and 20 respectively. So that certainly helped in terms of what fuel we had to carry. Myself with the 10 litre, Corey with the 10 litre, we obviously had to refuel a little bit more. If we didn't have a support vehicle, then it might have been more of an issue. But since getting back, I have made a few changes to the bike. I have put some bar risers on. I was a bit bent over, a bit more bent over than I'd like to be, and I needed a higher position. So I put these 20mm risers on. So we're here to sort of test those today and see how they'll go. And the other thing I've done is I've taken the standard springs out of the forks and I have put in some heavier duty springs. I've also put in a slightly heavier oil as well. I want to see today how that's going to go. I'm not sure whether it's going to be too stiff, but I guess we'll find that out. I do plan on doing it again, my youngest son, when he gets a bit older. I think if there's anything that I'd change or anything that I'd do different, is I think I'd like to have maybe shorter riding days and more time to sort of sit around the campfire, talk shit and recover. And so I think next time we would go to Birdsville and start from there rather than start from Broken Hill and go round to Pimba, to where Spuds is. Cross over, maybe take 5 days to go over if we can get a support vehicle, and then 4 days on the way back. I think it'll probably be a little bit harder on the younger fella. You're obviously starting with the bigger dunes and the thick sand. That 5 days to get over there would hopefully give him enough time to get sorted, and then the trip home, because we're all hopefully on song by then, shouldn't be an issue. We did do it a day shorter than what we'd planned. We had a contingency day built in, which is why we stayed that extra night at Birdsville. So we probably could have backed off a little bit, and we had the supplies to do it. There was one day when I seriously thought, I'm not sure I'm going to make this. This is before I figured out that I really needed to cover myself in water to try and stay cool. It was a really hot day. I think it was about 38. There's a photo. I'll put it up on the screen. Gary, so concerned about how I was feeling and the fact that I felt like I was going to pass out, took a photo. He then proceeded to call the praying to Mecca photo. You can see me there just stripped off, trying to cool down in one of the salt plains. And as I said, that's where I figured out that if I poured water on myself, it was like an aircon and I could proceed from there. My bike came back in one piece. Wooly, unfortunately, he ended up doing a fork seal. One of his forks had about 200 mils in it, so it was really starving for oil. And obviously he did his clutch. So he stripped his bike and he'd been waiting on a part for a long time, which is why I'm here at Neerim South on my own for a ride. So yeah, I'll have a bit of a ride today and in between maybe have a chat about what went well, what didn't, and why I would want to do it again and how it felt. So if you've watched my 2-day camping at Neerim South, which, why wouldn't you have? What a video. You may recognise this area. This is where Hunter and I camped for the night. Wouldn't mind a swim, but don't have the capacity to change and do everything, but I bet that'd be awesome. But people have been here since. There's a bit of a stack of firewood, even a seat. Look at that. Like I said, a bit of a shakedown right after the Simpson. We've got a fuel leak, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Looks like the filter might be leaking. I'll probably just replace the hose and the filter. But I should get through today. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. The bike feels pretty good. No tread, certainly feeling that. 2,500 Ks with a fair bit of a bitumen. Took a bit of a toll on the back tyre. So they do need to be replaced, but because it's not too wet here, I get away with it. Chasing another adventure though. Really need to get out there and go riding again, but it's time, and it's that time of the year where it's busy. I want to thank everyone who liked and subscribed the videos, and it's a good opportunity to say again how impressed I was with everyone that went. I mean, Wooly, he's the bush mechanic. He can fix anything if you need it fixed with a piece of string. He's the MacGyver. Christy, what an amazing job for someone who'd never really done any forward driving. She does the Simpson, doesn't get stuck, gets through in I think it's like a 2011, 2012 Colorado, which proves you don't need the latest and greatest. I mean, bro, considering what he went through a year ago or 2 years ago when he had his crash, he's got a pin in his leg, he's got restricted vision in one eye. He had a heart procedure too, which he'll tell you about if you ask him. He's very shy, he doesn't normally say anything, but for him, I mean, he killed the desert. I know some of the footage makes it look like we're struggling, makes it look like we fell off a fair bit. I mean, there were some falls, I'm not going to lie to you, everyone did it. Unfortunately, it always looks like I am because the camera's always on me, but I mean, he was flying by the end of it. It just took a little while to adjust, and he hadn't done as much riding leading up to it. Corey got his learner permit the day before we went, so kudos to him, massive effort. And Hunter, I mean, he made it look easy. There was one day there where he was definitely nearly keeping up with Wooly. You know, did really well. As far as injuries goes, as we know, Hunter did his shoulder, but that's healing up really well. We had it x-rayed when we got back, his mum insisted, and no permanent damage, but his shoulder's a bit tight, but I think he's starting to do some hangs and stuff to loosen that up. 7 to 10 days after we got back, we both rode to Canberra for 4 or 5 days doing the wall-to-wall with some amazing roads. So he certainly didn't let it stop him. And Wooly, he's recovered well. As I said, just his biking bits. I got to say, I really admire the people who do it solo, like people like Lance, the apprentice adventurer. To do that over 2 days, carry enough food, water, fuel is a really impressive feat. We were very lucky that we had Christy with the fuel and the water and the tools if we needed them, which we did a couple of times, nothing major, and the amazing food. I mean, we didn't have to live on noodles or bloody, tuna out of a can to get across the desert. The tents worked really well. We made sure that we didn't take swag. With that amount of people and the amount of weight we were able to carry in the Colorado, it made more sense. It turns out as well, we were actually really lucky. A couple of weeks, I think, after we got back, the highway where we hit the bitumen, went through the gate, got flooded and washed out and actually blocked off and will be closed for, I don't know if it's, even open yet. There was a heap of work that had to be done due to the rain. Since the Simpson, I've switched over to goggles. I used to wear clear glasses or sunglasses, but I borrowed Hunter's goggles when we were heading back and he didn't need them. I found them really good. I'm not going too hard because I'm here on my own. I'm fully aware of that. Plus it's been a little while since I've ridden. So I certainly don't want to come off. I'm not sure the dirt would be as forgiving as the sand. No, enjoying it, sweating. The fitness is definitely down. That would be from not riding, eating too much food and being a fat bastard. As you would have heard at the start of the video, it's Cape York 2026. Myself, Hunter, Gary, Wooly are all signed up at the moment. There may be a couple of others that join us. So Cape York next year in October. Sort of late-ish in the season, but wanting to miss the rains. Plus there's a few other things that are on. I know it can rain sort of later in the year, but they're still running tours around that time. So let's hope the weather holds and we'll go do Cape York. Before then, I'm going to have to get a 20 litre tank or an 18 litre tank that they say holds 20 anyway. Tow them to Cairns and we'll go from there to minimise the amount of time spent on the bike. This is dirt biking season, so plan to try and get away, do a few videos. We'll do Woods Point again and do the Vic High Country, which is just magnificent. I've done the linkages, re-greased them all, punched out the swing arm bolt, re-greased all that, re-greased the rear bearings and checked them, and also done the front. So that was great to get the cobwebs out. The front end's probably a little bit too stiff though. Starting to get a bit of rain, so I might have timed this perfectly. I guess this is where you feel the weight. Always bagged the DRZ for the weight. Doesn't look like I will get lucky with that rain. It's not too heavy, I suppose. If you stayed till the end, thanks very much. Appreciate everyone who liked and subscribed over the Simpson Desert videos. Obviously YouTube is not my living and I'm not Steven Spielberg, but it's good to get it out there how beautiful that country is and maybe inspire some other people to go and do the same thing. If you've got any questions, shoot them to me. This was more about just having a ride and a quick debrief in regards to the Simpson, and just announcing, like I said, that we're going to Cape York next year. Cannot wait. Thanks again to 3 Zeros as usual for their sponsorship through the Simpson. Who knows, maybe they'll get on board for Cape York as well. I'll see you next video. Thank you.